Hi all. Right, just before we begin, I posted the first video with the setup that I've just done. And this is me just about to start again, but fortunately it was up there and Martin picked up on something. The reason I was scratching my head about this move, and in my defence, I can only say it's very difficult to read the cards. I'm not going to bring the cards out again, but you had to look at the image, and I looked and seen that it was 2 second panzer that I came across. Well, in actual fact, it was 3 second panzer that I came across, and this guy was still here. So the difference between that and that, I can see it on the counter, but on the cards, my eyes just say, no, it's not going to happen. So I think in future, whenever play the Allied, so getting ready for the setup, I mean, it's only that first part, but I'll be having a magnifying glass nearby, because I could spoil something like that. But and then that was why there was head scratching, wondering why 2 second Panzer was moving into hex 1708 when it was already there. But it wasn't already there, Grant. It was still across there. Now it's across there. So there is 2 of them across. So thanks for that one, Martin. Thanks for getting that. And I think everyone else seemed alright. No other mentions of anything I missed anyway. Okay, so just about to move on to it's going to be the Allied impulse to start with, and I've not got a clue what I'm doing because I'm still not that long away from the German solo side of things, so I'm not sure how everything works as well. So I did say that this was probably going to be a bit slower, take it slow. Got a little bit time just now, so there might be a lot more pausing and cutting of videos. I'll squeeze a little bit in here and there maybe, and like I say, it'll be a slower procedure. But then again, once I maybe get into the swing of it, it all comes back to me about how all the rules work within this. It might move a bit quicker, but we shall see. I just drew the cards there, but I just realised something that I have missed. I've not brought down the reserves into the reserve units box. Now, the German reserves work quite differently in the Allied solo, so they don't go in the reserve units box until you draw the army group card. That's quite a different way of doing things. As soon as you draw the army group card, I think this is right. I've not got the rules up in front of me, but as soon as you draw it, no matter what you draw it for, you release all the reserves on the calendar from that day and any days previous into the reserve units box. Is that right, Grant? You're telling people here, but you don't seem confident about that. Yeah, no, I just went and had a look at a bit, and yeah, that's right. Okay, that like I say, everything's when you're moving from one system to the other here. It's going to be tricky to switch over. So that is right. What I just said is right. So whenever you draw it, no matter what you draw it for, that happens right away. They come off the calendar and they go into the reserve units box. You then do whatever it is you're doing with the card. That's all that does. It just triggers the reserves coming in. Do you not shuffle the cards in as well? One sec. Yeah, okay. At first I was looking at the wrong... Well, I bet they was telling you about the Army Group card, but no. It's 8.2, that's where you need to look. So Army Group B command card and German reserves. All German reserve units start playing the calendar and remain there until released to the reserve units box by the Army Group B card. When this card is drawn, regardless of what it's drawn for, take all German units from the current and previous days of the calendar, place them in the German reserves units box. That's what I just said, so I got that right. And then at the same time, take all German reinforcement cards due to enter play on the current date and shuffle them into the remaining German draw pile. So, and then it says that that's in addition to whatever you're drawing the Army Group B card for. It could be for a combat tactic, it could be that it's going to be your command card, your support card, or whatever. Well, would it be the support card? No, probably not. Maybe it could be. Oh, we'll get to that. Anyway, so my point was I'm going to bring the Allied reserves down. There's 5 of them, I think. But the German reserves just stay up there. And we'll see how it happens when we get to draw the card. The thing is, we're not going to get to draw the card this first day because it's already in the discard pile. The Army Group B card. So that won't happen until the 17th. But we'll always draw it. We'll draw it every day because we go right through the German deck. So, you know. So I'll get the reserves down first. Okay, brought the reserves down. That's my hand for the start of the day. So I'm just kind of browsing over things, wondering what I'm doing, to be honest. I suppose this is a major kind of, this area is a major worry. I think it always seems to be. I mean, when we were the Germans, this is the area we kind of pushed through. So I've got reduced dispersed unit there, and then a reduced unit here. So that's probably the area we want to try and shore up. Now I've got 2 of the 8 core reserves in the reserve units box, but I've not got the 8 core card to bring them out, you know. We've not got any reserve units from that. We've got 1 from the 5th core, so it seems a bit of a waste. I feel Raise the Alarm, I seem to remember that being quite a good event. That's on this card. And we've got a couple of heavy restrictions. We've got this slow allied reaction, which is on over the 16th. Which says non-mechanised units may move only 1 hex. This is the same but it does not apply to Raise the Alarm and Reinforce Battle. You may not play Allied Engineers command event to blow a bridge, so I can't blow up bridges. You may not play the Allied Artillery combat tactic, but you may play the Core Artillery combat tactic, which is that one there. And it's really good, this one, because as we're playing Allied solo, we benefit from that, being able to use it, and then it goes back into your draw pile. I think there has to be at least 1 card in your draw pile for that to trigger, but yeah, it's good for that purpose. Let me just check Raise the Alarm. Yeah, it's a pretty good event. Once you move any 1 unit as full movement allowance, using strategic movement if eligible. So it's good for the 16th, because it could move some, well, what could it move? Or I can deploy any 1 unit from the reserve units box. Deploy the unit normally or as a strategic reserve. That's a good bit about it, yeah. Even if it's not designated. Because, again, this is a new thing as well. When we deploy our reserves, if they're, first of all, if they have an S, a strategic, which this one does, you can deploy it strategically, which is slightly less restrictive. And also, if it's got a date that's previous to the day you're on, so they're the two conditions that would let you, and you can deploy it normally or strategically, if it's under one of the conditions. So yeah, that lets you do that. You know what? I've not got a clue what I'm doing. I know. I seem to remember. There's not an awful lot we can do to start with. It's all about the Germans pushing. They've caught us by surprise. We're not expecting all this. So you're very limited to what you can do. But I'm still going to have to pause here and have a good think about what it is I can do and what I'm going to do. So hang on. Right. What I think I'm going to do, I can't really see anything brilliant that jumps out at me, but I think it's going to take a wee while to get back into this side of the game. So I could well be making horrible decisions. I probably made horrible decisions when the German game, but I was a wee bit more up to speed on what I was wanting to do. So yeah, there's my hand. So I'm going to play the no command card for the event, the engineers event, and well, we're not allowed to blow bridges, so that is an option to us. We could repair bridges, blow bridges, place an IP on one allied stack, or we can place 2 roadblocks. So I think that's what I'm going to do, because both Veosam and St. Vith are vulnerable to this unit moving into it. This unit can go, because this unit's dispersed, 1, 2, 3, 4 obviously into there, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 he can actually get into St. Vith as well. There's nothing else he can reach, but well, if he was to activate, I'm pretty sure that's what he would do. We'll start seeing how the whole Germans use their activations. The big movement. There's lots of different movement command. There's a big table of movement instructions, lots of different things. But I'm pretty sure one of the priorities up there will be, if it can reach a VP hex that's empty, go for it. So what I thought I could do, I want to place 2 IPs, 2 roadblocks, place 2 roadblock markers, each one in a non-clear road hex, an allied supply, so it can't be a clear hex, an allied supply, and not adjacent to a German unit. So, I mean, I think, straight up thinking, I could put 1 in Vilsam, 1 in St. Vith. I did wonder about just putting them maybe there, in front of the sort of town, or I don't know if that's clever or not, if it makes any... It seems a bit more logical to put them in there. I think because probably... I'm just trying to think about the movement instructions. One of the movement instructions is they would move adjacent to a VP hex. So if I was to put that there, it might not allow him to get adjacent to that VP hex because he's going to bump into that roadblock. Ah, sorry. Sorry, I had my phone on. I've not got it on silent there. Right, that's on silent now, so hopefully I won't get any more of that. But I'm not sure if that's clever or not, and I think it's safer just to put them in both the victory point towns. So that way, when he heads towards there, he's got to stop. All they do is, with roadblocks though, once they act, there's no dice rolling for them to see if a reserve pops up or anything like that nonsense. I'm pretty sure it's, if they activate and they're adjacent to an allied roadblock, you just remove the roadblock. So it's really just a speed bump. It's a pretty decent one because it means they've got to activate, then they've got to activate again, and the chances of them activating in twice in the trot is quite unlikely, but so yeah, I think that's all I'm going to do. I say if I'd had the card to bring out the reserves for the 12 core or the 8th core, but I don't have that card, and it feels a little wasteful using that 5 core card, because that's the one that's got the core artillery on it. Not that I'm because I might end up in a battle and be able to use that. I'm not going attacking anything, but I'm just talking defending. And plus, if I wasn't to do that, activating the whole 5 core units would maybe get some IPs on the ones up the north there and get them a bit stronger. That's another thought. So that's going to be my impulse. So my hand size is 4, so I get to draw back up to 4. I'll just show you what we get. Okay, 8 core, it's a division card. It does deploy both the reserves, so they're both 9th armour. So yeah, that probably a good chance to get the 2 guys out, but we'll see. We'll see what the Germans do, and that's mainly what it's about. Certainly at the moment, it's all about the German. I mean, there's a lot more to the AI in this game, I suppose, because it's the Germans. They're all mainly on the offensive, so there's a lot to go through. You're kind of not doing an awful lot as allies, certainly at the beginning. But I still like it. I still like working out what the Germans are going to do and seeing how the AI does its thing. It's good. But again, it's pretty hard to keep it all straight and not make errors. I'm pretty sure I'm going to make more in this game than I did in the last game, and I made quite a few in the last game, so maybe, like I say, take it slower, possibly upload the videos a wee bit, leave a gap between uploading a video and starting the next part, and letting you guys have a look. No doubt Martin will be on the scene, and maybe catch things before I then move on. That would be better. Like I say, he's already caught that one with the setup, but I don't feel bad about that one. That's just whether it's an eyesight thing or it's come on guys, could you not have made it a bit bigger on the card so we could have read it, actually seen the image. You can see they've got to try and cram an awful lot on the cards, so anyway. Okay, so right, I'm going to have a look at how this all starts, and we'll see if we can get a German impulse going. Okay, so we start a German impulse by drawing the top 2 cards from the German draw pile. And just a comment, know that it matters to you, but I'm really annoyed I didn't notice where my map was set up, because I've now managed to reset this map up and it's a bit too far this way, and I'm having to stretch over this way with the camera, and I can't start moving everything now because things would go everywhere, but because I've got plexi over the top, obviously, so I'm just going to have to go with it. But I wish I'd taken note of where I'd put it before, because it was much better positioned. However, that's my fault. Okay, so we're going to draw the top 2 cards of the German draw pile. And if there's a primary card, it's going to go in this box. And if they're both primary cards, you're going to place the higher one in here, and if a higher command value one in here. Is that right? Yeah, higher command value. Then if they're both the same command value, you're going to pick the lower ID number on the card to go here. Okay, so let's draw these 2. I'll just draw them both at once. Right, so there we go. So we've not got a primary card, but this is command value 2 and this is command value 1. So what's going to happen is that's going to go in there. Well, actually, I should have known there was no primary cards coming in. They're all in the discard pile. Yeah. But obviously, when the time comes and we go into the next day, then this a lot more chance of a primary card appearing. Okay, so there's the two cards, and this becomes a command card, and this becomes a support card. And they work in slightly different ways. Okay, zoomed in there a bit. Sorry, I can't really get it straight, so it's at an angle there, but it's the best I'm going to get. So the first thing you've got to check, strangely enough, well, not strangely enough, it's how it is. First thing you check is you look at the support card and you see if there's a command event. Now, it's not a special event. For instance, there's a special event there on that card. It's just an event. And there is an event, consolidation. And remember, we're working under either the arrows or the A this time. We're ignoring the G's in any 2player symbols that might be there. We ignore them, so we're just looking at the A's and the arrows. So we've got an event. So we immediately activate that event, and then this card gets discarded. So we'll do that. Just need to check what that does. Okay, that's quite a decent start to them because I think they've lost. Consolidation. Add one replacement step to the German formation on the it's the command card. Yeah. Well, actually, I think they took a hit on that unit as well. Yeah. So they're getting a replacement point, not for that core, but for this core. So add one replacement step to the German formation on the command card for this impulse, not the formation on the supporting card. Yeah. And it's formation, so yeah, so it's any one unit in the core, whereas I suppose that would have only been the 5th FJ division. Funny enough, I think it was one of them that was reduced though. But however, it's not that card, Grant. Stop going on about that. Right, assign according to replacement step procedure. If the formation is activated in this impulse, the unit may act. Yeah, so it's basically just saying that we might well be activating that core just because he's got a replacement step. He can still do whatever it is they're going to do. So yeah. Okay, and I just thought I'd start recording there and just show you that I've almost made the same mistake that's been done quite a few times again, almost right from the start, thinking that it's this core. And it's not, and it's just the colour of the card and the colour of the band on the units. Within the colours, it's as close a colour as you can get, and yeah, it's the wrong core. Obviously, these are the 66 core, and the card is for the 67 core. So I'll move the camera to the right place. But fortunately, they took a hit as well, wasn't it? It was this unit here. So the consolidation gets to repair, add one replacement step to the German formation. Yeah. So this is only unit, and he needs to be a supplied unit and also be able to trace supply at the time he gets it. He's got to follow the same replacement thing. But that's it. He gets back up to full strength, just like that. Let's see the Germans are going to get to do things that we wouldn't have been able to do when we were playing them, but and well, vice versa. Okay, so that card gets discarded now, and then we move on to the actual command card. Okay, so back to the try and get that glare a bit out of the way. Back to the command card, and you just carry out the commands and whatever one comes first. And yeah, we've got a special event that's on the 16th, 17th. We've got the Von der Height special event. So it's going to carry out that. So how do we go about that one again? This is a once per game thing. If it's not yet attempted to deploy, oops, can't get my words out, place it in the first of the following hexes that is not occupied by or adjacent to an allied unit. Okay, so it's going to try and put it in 05, 10, 04, 08 or 04, 11. And then once we place it, we've got to roll the dice to see its fuel status, or there is a chance it could be eliminated. So I'll go and look up the top and see what hex it's going to go into. Yeah, and as we've not done very much at all yet, so 05, 10 is that hex there, so there's not an allied unit in it or adjacent to it, so that's where it's going to go. And now we need to roll a dice, and I suppose ideally we are looking for a 10 and then it's eliminated, but let's see what we get. Oh! Okay, we'll take that. It's a 10. Lucky start with the dice. Maybe not the most important dice roll I'm going to be wanting in the game, but so yeah, if it's a 10 it's eliminated. Yeah, well that was rather fortunate. I'll just put it back in its box because yeah, we'll remember not to do it again because it only gets to try that once, and that's it done. So that's it. That's the Germans had their impulse. Now, if there had been, hang on, I'll bring the camera. After activating the German command card, if there had been a support card still there, so if there hadn't been an event on there, we would move that into there and carry out another activation, or it's like basically they get two. There's a chance to get two sort of impulses there. But there's no card there, so if a card remains, move it to the command card, yeah. And if no card is in the support card box, the German impulse is over and an allied impulse then begins. So that was it. So yeah, that wasn't too painful, I don't think. So we'll get back to an allied impulse shortly. I might just take a pause there, just check the wee bits of video I've got already, see if it might maybe better joining that up. Although not an awful lot's happened, but I suppose it's gave you an idea of how the Germans work there. It'll be better once they start activating units and moving and attacking and that. Okay, I'll take a pause here just to cut the video, but I might come back. I say that all the time. Yeah. It doesn't matter to you. You'll just see the next bit of the video. I don't know why I need to bother telling you that. Okay, cheers, guys.